What's good, you casters? Just going to do a quick deck profile for you guys based off of my favorite card. You can see, hopefully, the deck profile behind you. Behind me, I mean. Look behind you! Alright, so I'm doing a deck profile on Krakatuga, which stood out as one of the basically more powerful cards in the game to me. And I think it's only going to get better. But just the idea of its playstyle, it hits differently than a lot of the other decks. I think Voltempest is going to be equivalent to something like that, but I mean, Voltempest is also something that needs a little bit more to get to, but I think it's still pretty going to be better than this deck. But that's what makes this deck unique, is that it is built differently. So Krakatuga, if you're not familiar with what it does, you can expend two you can expend 2 and force your opponent to expend 3. When you cast Eruption, you can target and destroy a card. So you're expending to force them expend, and then you're also using Eruption, which if you're not familiar with Eruption, this is Eruption. And an opponent must expend 3. If they control a fire enchanted Celestial, they must expend 1 instead. So based off of this 2-card combo, which actually takes, if you're counting spirits and how to get here, it takes more, obviously. But basically, these are the 2 cards that you're going to be focusing on in the deck to help deplete their deck. So technically, this is a 5-card spin of their spirits. So if you do this 4 times, they die, which you can only do it 3. So you will have to kind of work for that last 5. They're going to be using some themselves, so that could help you out. But people play Ambrosia, they play, Quackle and Snuggle or whatever other ways to be able to shuffle spirits back into their spirit deck from the underworld. And then on top of all that, it will also destroy just a card, any card. It targets, but it destroys a card, which I think is very useful. So that's the main focus, which technically in certain situations, it could be the main attacker. That's why I've added the Galaxy. And this is the art artist pack 1. So it is hollow, and what this card does is, as long as Galaxy is enchanted, swap each water enchanted Celestial's attack with its defense. So that will be giving our Krakatuga +9. Necro will be a fire enchanted Celestial, so his won't actually flip. So we'll be able to maintain our 5 attack, and then when this Necro destroys an opponent's Celestial in battle, your opponent must expend 1. So this is also going to kind of help us get closer to meeting that 20 spirit knockout range by being able to kill certain things that they have. By switching their attack and defense, Necro will be able to attack over it, assuming that they have a lower defense than their attack, vice versa if they're in defense. So I just thought Galaxy was a really good card that worked in this. And then everything else is just kind of like support for Krakatuga. We have the 3 Tadpuffs, which is basically going to help us just respond and jump into Krakatuga, which will help us send spirits from their deck, and then we can also pop something that they're working on the board. So I kind of see it as more of a reaction kind of deck. Like, you want them to think that they're all good and smart, and then you just abuse the leverage over them by playing stuff too much and stuff like that. So that's kind of like where I am coming from with this deck idea, but we need to get into Krakatuga. So Tadpuff helps you automatically jump into that. A little bit slower route to do that is going to be the Foamy, which is just going to be able to float itself most likely into another Foamy. I think it's technically gonna be a waste. You could float in if the damage is done. You could float into Galaxy, or if Galaxy is gonna help make it so they won't be able to attack you, you could float into a Galaxy. I think that's a pretty good move. So there's that. Then we're playing the 3 Sluggles, which this is also the art collection pack. And Sluggle's just gonna be return up to 3 water from your underworld into the spirit deck. So it's pretty good. It's also a 1, so you can shuffle 3 back. If it stays alive, then you can go into Krakatuga from there with this. I wish there was room to add Majesty, but there really isn't too much room. It's really focused on kind of destroy, control, keep trying to go into advantage. It's more of a slowing reaction deck. Small Tuga is just like decent in my opinion. It's got the 5 defense, so if we have Galaxy, it's like a decent attacker. It's gonna search out our Necros, and I think that's good. That's why we're only playing at 2. If it was needed, I could switch it to 1, like something like that, but I still think it's good just being able to search out that Necro, which is gonna help early game. So if they don't answer the Small Tuga, now we have Krakatuga, and then we can get a Necro on the board in the following turn, or we can go Necro and start pinging and hitting things that way, so that's pretty good. The explode eruptions, like I've already said, we have Poseidon and Trident of Poseidon, which is it's decent in the deck, honestly. It just prevents counter ruins. I'm only playing it because it's a main water deck, so it kind of will help make sure when we want to do that reaction to destroying and taking control of the board, if we have Trident Poseidon to play along with the Tadpuff and the Krakatuga, like we're going to be able to just go through with no problems. So that's mainly why. Tsunami, just to kind of protect some of our stuff from being hit if we need to, or taking damage, also switching things into possibly a position where they're weaker if we don't have Galaxy, stuff like that. Nectar of the Gods, just super generic pot of greed. It probably is one of the cards that could get taken out here, and then play something like Amphoris or whatever that water nexus card is, something like that. Then there's the 3 Ambrosia and the 2 Shield of Achilles, just to respond. Poison Tip Arrow, just to respond. Gorgon's Gaze, just to respond. Which I think there actually could be a point where people are going to be focusing so much on the counter ruins that it's better to just not play counter ruins. But at the same time, you don't get payout for playing more 1-drops, which is actually a really weird thing, because something like Magic, you can just rush them with 1-drops because you can just play as many 1-drops as you have mana. In this game, you only get 1 normal summon, kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! But then there is no special summon mechanic except for probably like Tadpuff, and maybe there's some other thing, but it's like the Ignector and stuff like that. They're just really terrible stat cards that just get you a special summon designed to help you go into 2-drops. That's basically their whole function. So there's really no rush factor, and then you could say like you're playing 1-drops to be able to just quick beat them, but you're still playing stuff slowly. Earth Beaters is probably the best option at this, but other than that, I just don't see the value of building the deck like that. But you do want options to be able to go to 1-drops, to be able to go into your 2-drops and so on. So I think it's just needs more support in the game, honestly, to be able to do cooler stuff. But I think this is a good start for Krakatuga, and it's one of the decks that I am most interested in playing. And then we just have the 8 Vipyros, 12 Leviathans, and that's going to be our 20-card Spirit deck and 40-card Celestial deck. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If there's any card that you think might kind of boost up the potential of this deck or anything like that. I actually was very happy with all of my polls. If you haven't seen that, go check that video out. I almost pulled everything. I just needed the Voltempest and Emphyrix and Leonite, maybe a couple other holos, but those three were the main three cards that I was looking for that I didn't get. Other than that, I feel like I got everything, so that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Along with, sorry, along with my favorite hit in the set, which you could go see what that is if you go watch the video. So thank you guys so much for watching. My voice keeps like going and drying out. My throat's just so dry. Jeesh. But yes. Thank you guys for watching. Take care and enjoy casting. Peace out.